Commander Jake Morrison's hands trembled as he withdrew the neural interface connector from the Kepler station's main console. The bioluminescent tendrils that had been pulsing with data streams flickered and died, leaving the command center bathed in emergency lighting. Behind him, the station's artificial gravity generators whined in protest, their harmonic frequency dropping to dangerous levels. "You pulled out." The voice belonged to Liaison Zithra, her 6-foot frame rigid with what Jake could only describe as horror. Her translucent purple skin had shifted to an alarming shade of crimson, and the delicate gill slits along her neck fluttered rapidly. "That's illegal on my planet, human." Jake turned slowly, still clutching the warm bioconnector in his palm. The organic technology felt alien against his skin, literally. 3 weeks aboard the joint human-Zephyrian research station had taught him that their technology wasn't just advanced. It was alive, symbiotic in ways that human engineering had never contemplated. "I had to disconnect," he said, his voice hoarse from the neural feedback. "The data stream was corrupting. If I'd stayed linked any longer, it would have overloaded both our systems." Zithra's 4 eyes, 2 large primary ones and 2 smaller secondary ones, focused on him with laser intensity. Her people, the Zephyrians, had evolved on a world where electromagnetic storms were as common as rainfall on Earth. Their entire civilization had developed around the concept of complete data integration, neural networks that span not just individuals but entire communities. On Zephyria Prime, premature disconnection from a shared neural link is considered a violation of the collective consciousness accords, she explained, her translator device struggling with concepts that had no human equivalent. It's like abandoning your partner during the most intimate moment of mental communion." Jake set the bioconnector on the console with reverence. The thing still pulsed weakly, its bioluminescent core dimming like a dying star. He'd felt it during the connection, not just the raw data about the approaching asteroid that threatened both their worlds, but something deeper. Zithra's consciousness had touched his, showing him glimpses of Zephyria Prime, vast cities that grew like coral reefs, storms that painted the sky in impossible colors, and a people who shared thoughts as easily as humans shared breath. "Your laws don't apply here," Jake said gently, though he understood her distress now. "This is neutral space. Besides, staying connected would have killed us both." The asteroid, designation Omega-7, was unlike anything either species had encountered. Its core contained exotic matter that interfered with both human electronics and Zephyrian biotechnology. The Joint Research Station had been humanity's first attempt at true interspecies cooperation, but the approaching threat had pushed their hybrid systems beyond safe parameters. Zithra's skin began to shift back to its normal purple hue, though her secondary eyes remained fixed on the dormant bioconnector. "Your neural patterns," she said slowly, "they're more rigid than I expected. Like crystal formations instead of flowing water. When you disconnected, it felt like you were rejecting not just the data link, but me." Jake felt heat rise to his cheeks. The connection had been intimate in ways he hadn't anticipated. Through Zithra's consciousness, he'd experienced thought-sharing that went beyond mere communication. For a brief moment, he'd understood what it meant to be part of something larger than himself, to be connected to another being on a level that transcended individual existence. "I wasn't rejecting you," he said. "I was trying to save us both." The data cascade was building toward a feedback loop that would have fried our neural pathways. She moved closer, and Jake caught the faint scent of ozone that always surrounded her, a byproduct of her bioelectric nervous system. "Perhaps," she said, "we need to find a middle ground between your human need for disconnection and our Zephyrian requirement for complete neural communion." As if in response to her words, the bioconnector on the console pulsed once, brighter than before. Through the observation deck's transparent aluminum windows, Omega-7 continued its inexorable approach, a dark harbinger that would require both species to transcend their fundamental differences. Jake looked at Zithra, then at the connector. "Ready to try again?" "This time, we establish emergency disconnection protocols." Her 4 eyes glittered with something that might have been amusement. "Very well, human. But on my world, we have a saying, true communion requires trust in the connection. Perhaps it's time you learn to trust.